Hey guys, this is Rochelle. As you can see, my barn is pretty empty right now with just Polo hanging out his head here in the stall. My two horses, Oakley and Dolce, the other two horses, are up at summer camp up in Pennsylvania with Emily. And so while they're up there, I just thinking about some of the things I had to do to prepare them and get them up there. I had to set up send the Coggins. I had to set a vet history report. When were they last had their shoes? What other kind of medical issues have I seen or observations? What have I been doing with them? Their Coggins, their registration information so that they could be set up for the horse shows, because Emily does all that, thank goodness. So all of that I had to send over. And so I'm going to go through some of their different reports and all that information that's now at your fingertips. So there's a couple places where you're going to want to get information out of the tool. First of all, I'm at the home screen, so I'm going to go ahead and hit my horse list, and I will pick Dolce, for instance. And if I look at documents, you'll be able to see documents and be able to get specific documents out. Same thing under papers and registration. If there's a document attachments, some of these documents will require attachments, some of them don't, but if there's attachments, you'll be able to download those. And then you'll also be able to have their insurance information below. But then going to reports. There's a lot of different types of reports, and this is where you might want to share information with others here. So you can look at exercise and training reports. What it will do is it'll give you a date range. So at any of these reports, they all work the same way. You'll change the date range. If you want a wider date range, you can just pick your date and change your date range. And then once you do that, you have to hit the update button. So don't forget that anytime you do any of these filters, if you want to filter by person or horse or service, just make sure you hit the update button to get it updated. And in the reports, depending on what the report is, there's various functions. There is this download function, which this will download it to a CSV file, which you can open through Excel. There is a print function as well as an email function. So you'll see the different functions up here to the top right if they're available, depending on what that report is. As I mentioned, Coggins reports. So this will show the Coggins for each of these horses, of which you can then see which horses have Coggins. And then if you have horses on site that you don't have active Coggins for, you'll be able to see that as well. So you can gather that information. And then you can, at any point within the report, view the Coggins just by popping it open like that. A lot of these reports you're going to see within the reports, not only to mention about these filters here, but you're also going to see past activities, as well as if you click on this, you'll be able to see upcoming activities. This is if you've set a reminder for future activities. So for instance, I set up a reminder for the horse's shoes and trims for 5 weeks from this date. So that way, if I go to future upcoming activities, I'll be able to see when those horses are due. Really helpful, especially if you have horses under multiple schedules. And that is actually the case when I go to my medical vaccination report. My vaccinations are under different schedules. So seeing that not only seeing the past, which is really helpful, but being able to see who is due and when. So that way, if you have the vet out, you can look at that report very quickly and say, oh, this horse is due, it's coming up, we better go ahead and get that done now. Insurance. So if you have any insurance information, you can see that information in here. Registration. So this is helpful for if you're filling out entries, you can see all the registration information that you have in there, microchip numbers and such. So that is very helpful and handy. And under the stable information, you can see active horses in the barn and where they're located as well. The combined feed chart, which will show all the horses on here, which you can then sort these by horse or by stall. You can also filter it up here. And then again, you can print here, or an individual stall chart. So this will print it out on a 5x7 format, so you can print it out on cards and have it available for printout. So it'll be formatted for printout that way. And that has a little bit more information on here, provided you have a phone number set up with the owner and such in the system. It'll provide a little bit more information on that individual stall chart. So now I'm going to skip down to the medical report. Very helpful, especially if you've got a horse that you're
sending off somewhere and you want to give them the medical history of this, you can easily expand the dates and go, much further back, hit save, update, and you'll see a lot bigger history from a medical perspective. Now, a medical report's going to combine all the different categories. So you're going to see vaccines and worming and such in the entire report, but then there's reports specific to vaccines and worming as well. This report is really interesting. This is also, you'll find it under the horse show report, but this report is really cool. You can select whatever horses you want, hit update, and this replaces the handwritten report of keeping up with whatever their flu rhino is that you have to submit for entry into different horse show facilities that are USEF sanctioned competitions. So very nice report to have, and every time you update, so if I have the horse being vaccinated tomorrow and I load in tomorrow what their vaccination information is, then it'll immediately update this report the next time I run it. Under horse shows, there's many specific horse show reports. And then lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about the billable line items. There's another tutorial on billable line items, so I'm going to leave some of these for that tutorial, but you'll be able to see several finance reports as well. So in the end, a lot of information here, a lot of information that knowing that you're putting information in, and now it's going to organize it and help you use that information in the best efficient way possible.
Thanks for watching. We're going to be posting more videos related to Equine Simplified tips and tricks, as well as general horse care topics. So please remember to subscribe so that you can get the latest. Now, time to go play with the horses. Cheers!